Fresh from the showcase here at SwissWatchExpo, Omega's Dark Side of the Moon is one of the most celebrated editions of the Speedmaster, and we've got 3 of them, so let's check it out now. The Dark Side of the Moon is one of the most interesting and unique models in the entire Speedmaster line. It's one of my favorites, and it's unique in a lot of ways, mainly because a lot of the NASA-inspired Speedmasters, and Omega has come out with a lot of them over the decades, all seem to be variations on the theme of the original Moonwatch, the original, manual winding professional model. The Dark Side of the Moon, while very much a celebration of NASA's history and about space travel, like a lot of Speedmasters are, definitely its own beast in a lot of ways. And I'd like to get into it in some more detail now because we actually have 3 very distinct editions of this fantastic model in stock right now. The first one I'm going to go over is the original, released in 2013. This is just the Omega Dark Side of the Moon. They also came out with an all-black and a gray side of the moon during this generation. But this is the first one. This is the one I think people who are familiar with this model are going to be most familiar with and going to be the first one that pops into their mind when they think of the Dark Side of the Moon model. The one thing that all of these watches have in common, and it's incredibly impressive, is that it is a all-black ceramic case. And this is not a ceramic coating or a PVD-coated case. Each and every single Dark Side of the Moon model is carved from a single piece of solid ceramic, which makes it incredibly difficult to manufacture, but that also has a lot to do why this is priced a good bit higher than a lot of other Speedmasters you might have been shopping for in the past. The traditional one, because it's called Dark Side of the Moon, you can imagine the motif is black. All black, including a black ceramic dial here. So it's not just the case. The dial itself is also made from a piece of ceramic. This does have a 2 chronograph register dial, so you do have your second hand here at 9 o'clock and a double chronograph at 3. So this is going to be one of many things that's going to set it apart from the original Moonwatch. You also do have a date window here at 6 o'clock. It's very subtle. You kind of have to look for it to pick up on it, but it is there. This is definitely a very modern sports chronograph, and it's going to set it apart from the original Moonwatch in a lot of different ways too. Instead of a 42 millimeter case, it'll be 44 and a quarter wide and a good bit thicker, not just because of the case, but also because of the double sapphire crystal that's on it. So I know a lot of people wear the Moonwatch being a little bit dressier. It does fit under a dress shirt pretty easily. This one's a little bit less so. This is a lot more casual than a traditional Moonwatch, but it's also a lot more attention grabbing too. The strap that it comes on is this incredible looking nylon strap, which it does add a lot to the sporty appeal of it. You do also have ceramic chronograph pushers and the crown here as well. Probably the biggest and starkest difference is going to set this apart from the other NASA-inspired watches is the automatic movement. This is a caliber 9300, so this is just a sheer departure from anything that was in previous editions of it. They're pretty much starting from the ground up with this, and this is probably one of their most progressive and interesting chronograph movements, coaxial chronograph movements that they're making right now. It is beautifully detailed. You see you have the Genève pattern all over the back there. It looks sort of like a mollusk shell or something. And if you flip this rotor sideways, you can see the mainspring moving. It is an absolute joy to see in motion. And this is why it's really one of the most popular Speedmasters, one that gets probably the most attention and people talk about more than anything else. And not only along the Speedmaster line, but you'll notice even as much watch shopping as you do, there's really not anything on the market that's exactly like this. The next one I want to go into is one we've actually done a video on in the past. So I'm kind of going to breeze over it because I do highly recommend you check that out because this watch is fascinating in a lot of ways. This is the most recent edition of the Dark Side of the Moon that came out, and this one celebrates the team Alinghi yacht racing team from Switzerland. Now, as I mentioned in the video, Switzerland's a landlocked country, so I'm very surprised they have elite yachting going on there, but what can I say? They're a talented group of people judging by the craftsmanship in these watches. So if they apply that level of skill to sporting events, I'm sure they are able to succeed, and I know that this team has won a lot. Quite interesting enough, this watch has really, sporting is the one thing that it sort of has in common with other Speedmaster models. This is not a dive watch. This is not even a watch that specifically celebrates space travel or anything. This is a very unique watch that was made for a yacht racing team, but it is very interesting looking, and also not quite so esoteric that you have to be a big yacht fan to appreciate this watch. You do have the Team Alinghi logo here at 6 o'clock. The movement here is different in a couple of ways. It is a manual winding movement, so again, kind of jumping back to the original professional edition Speedmasters. And another thing that's going to make it really interesting is that this is actually a regatta timing chronograph. So that's going to set it apart from, I think, really any Speedmaster. I believe all the other regatta chronographs they made were either in the Aquaterra or the Seamaster line in general. So this makes it a very unique addition to the Speedmaster line. You have the Alinghi logo not only at the 6 o'clock subdial here, but also on the top pusher. Because this is a manual wind racing or regatta racing chronograph, I believe they call it the caliber 1865, so it is a modified version of the 1861 movement, making it similar to a lot of moon watches, but this one is absolutely stunning to look at in the back. You don't have that rotor hiding anything behind this beautiful movement, and it does say Team Alinghi and Dark Side of the Moon engraved on the back here, just to really let you know what this is all about. I did forget to mention here the beautiful looking white paint that is on this ceramic tachometer bezel around here. Incredible contrast, and the partially skeletonized dial is another real beauty to behold. This is really a visually stunning watch, both from the front and the back. And that's about all I'm going to get into this one. It does have a really great looking perforated rubber strap here too, because it is meant for water sports, but I go into a lot more detail in the video that we shot a few months ago. We were lucky enough to get another one of these fantastic models in stock, and I couldn't help myself from sharing it along with these other two. The last one that I wanted to show you, this might be the most special one yet. This here is the explicit Apollo 8 edition. I'm going to go ahead and unfasten it right now, of the Dark Side of the Moon. The original was meant as an homage to that mission, the first NASA mission to actually view the Dark Side of the Moon. This predates the moon landing, but it was the first time they orbited it and the first time man had ever laid eyes on it. But this one here is the specific 50th anniversary of that Apollo 8 mission. Couple of things that make it different from the regular Dark Side of the Moon that originally came out. First things first, this too has a manual winding movement, so again, kind of gone back to the traditional moon watch type of watch. This does have the anniversary of the Apollo 8 mission engraved on the back, along with Dark Side of the Moon, and I believe the last word spoken before they actually orbited the moon, which is, "We'll see you on the other side." So that is all engraved on the back. This is a great watch going back to models that commemorate specific NASA missions. So the space fans and the NASA geeks out there would really eat this up, and this is a fantastic watch as well. This one, like the Alinghi, partially skeletonized on the front. This one in a very different way, and it actually has a laser etched pattern to mimic the surface of the moon. And I'm not sure how much the camera can catch up on that, but if you hold it up close, the attention to detail is absolutely stunning. This is one of the prouder watches Omega has in its entire catalog right now, and for good reason. One thing that's going to instantly set it apart from the other two is, of course, the yellow accents on the bezel, and of course the dial as well, with the sweep seconds, and the second hand being a very bright yellow that really pops against the dark gray sort of pattern on here. All in all, these are three fantastic watches, probably some of the proudest that Omega has, and most importantly, nothing else really like it on the market. There are some ceramic chronographs out there, but even that is a rarity, but absolutely nothing that looks like this. So if this is the kind of watch that you're interested in, or something that has instantly caught your eye the second you looked at it, give us a call, because I believe these are the only three we have. I'm sure they're not going to last long. And of course, if this isn't your style, congratulations on making it to the end of the video. You should like and subscribe to our channel so you can see the other ones we have and the thousands of other pieces that we are coming through and sending out all over the world every day. So check us out online, like and subscribe, and give us a call at SwissWatchExpo.com.